Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are the Owatonna School Board. This is a regular meeting. It's Monday. It's October 25th at 5:30. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Eric, our attendance tonight?
Perfect attendance.
We do. Would you all please rise? Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item tonight would be to approve the agenda as presented. We'll entertain a motion to that effect.
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor with an aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Elstad for our mission moment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the board, it is my privilege tonight to again honor our mission of inspiring excellence for every learner every day by lifting up some of our students that have demonstrated their excellence in the arts programs that we offer here at Owatonna High School. As I call your name, if you would please come up to the podium, I'll kind of bring you up as a group, have some general comments, and then open it up for the board as well. So there are a few that aren't here, and if I missed you as you came in, I apologize. But I'm going to introduce those that I have for sure seen here. So I'd like to first introduce Emily Jacobs. Emily was chosen to the All-State Orchestra in percussion. Come on up, Emily, up to the podium if you would. Thank you. I would next like to introduce Hank Bell, who was selected to the All-State Choir. And as you can see, he is in attire for Arsenic and Old Lace coming up here in a week or two. Julia Christensen, also in the All-State Choir. Ava Hess, All-State Band. Caitlin Poppy, All-State Band. Scott Weckman, All-State Band. Scott, if you want to go on the other side, I'm going to get a balanced approach here for a video. That'd be great. And we're missing tonight, unless they walked in late, Elizabeth Granowski, who plays strings with the All-State Orchestra. I did not see Elizabeth come in. And lastly is Max Ginther, All-State Choir. I did not see him either. Members of the board, these students were elected by the Minnesota Music Educators Association to participate in their respective all-state music areas. MMEA's All-State is considered the top program of its kind across the nation that develops high school musicians and school music programs. The All-State program supports secondary school music ensembles, MMEA members, and member students. Last March, each of these students had to submit now they don't do in-person auditions anymore. They had to submit an electronic audition. And in mid-April, the MMEA All-State Committee chooses those final rosters. Considering the scores, there are over 565 students that are selected for the three respective All-State groups. Students attend a camp in August where they meet their guest conductor. They have long hours of rehearsals and sectionals leading up to a concert that happens in August. They'll be performing again in February at Orchestra Hall as part of the MMEA Midwinter Classic. Members of the board, we're very proud, Owatonna proud of these students and the excellence that they have demonstrated, not only in the classroom, but also with their voice or instruments. Let's give them a round of applause. Now I'll have you quickly turn around if you would. And members of the board, if you have questions or comments.
I was just hoping that my camera would work, that I could take a quick picture from this perspective. Any questions? We can't begin to congratulate you enough. Go ahead.
How much traveling are you doing? Do you have to go far to do your rehearsals?
We just did the All-State camp in August, so that's the only traveling we had to do so far in February. don't really have to do any traveling, but
Okay.
So I know choir was at St. John's, right? And where was band? Is that also at St. John's?
Concordia College in Moorhead.
Ah, Concordia and
Oh, so you did
Moorhead.
travel.
Okay, and orchestra was where, Emily?
St. Benedict.
St. Benedict's. Okay, very good.
Nice.
Congratulations.
There you go.
Very glad you could join us
Yeah.
here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great.
No, you're busy.
Well
Thank
done.
you very much. Thank you.
Up next on the agenda is the public forum. As a quick reminder, this is a good opportunity to remind you that this is the importance of meeting decorum. We do not allow slander, defamation, profanity, personal attacks, or revelations of private data. As chair, I respectfully request that the public refrain from interrupting speakers during public forum. You'll be provided 3 minutes, asked to state your name and the subject you wish to address. We have 2 cards tonight. The first from Matthew Stanislav. Mr. Stanislav, come on up. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Let me say thank you to all of you for allowing us the opportunity to speak publicly here. I wanted to just comment with regard to the ongoing conversation on equity work in the community here. So I've been a member of the Owatonna community for about 10 years now. My wife and I are both small business owners here. We're the proud parents of 3 young boys who are part of the Owatonna public school system. One of them is a child of color. And so over the last few years, we have really paid close attention to how leadership has responded as we have walked through periods of local and regional and national instances of injustice and inequality. And really, we've been very proud of the way that the community has responded and our leadership, which includes you guys. And so wanted to just take the opportunity tonight, first off, to say thank you to each and every one of you for the work that you've done, for your ongoing dedication to seeing things play out for the best interest of our students. I know you guys have gone through a lot over the last few months in particular, as you've had to weather personal attacks and criticism, both publicly and privately, and at the same time, you've continued to navigate that and to just put our students first. So wanted to just take a moment, though, to talk with regard to a couple of arguments that have been made in the past, and just kind of point out maybe the dangerous nature of them. The first one was that we have heard it said that equity is a bad thing, that we shouldn't be pursuing equity. And dictionary definition of equity is pretty simple. It's just that we would have a quality of being fair or impartial. And I haven't heard any good arguments for why we shouldn't be fair or why we should be partial. And so want to make sure that we're moving forward in a way that does pursue equity. Another term that we've heard misused is the term woke, that things are bad if they're woke. Woke just means being aware of social injustice, particularly racism. And I certainly hope that you as a school board will be woke, that you will be aware of what's going on in our communities. So just wanted to encourage you to that end. Thank you guys so much again for what you're doing, and really appreciate everything that you put into this. Thank you.
Mr. Stanislav, thank you. Our only other card tonight is from April St. Martin. Oh, there is one more. Ms. St. Martin, welcome. Nice to see you.
Hi, thank you again for letting me come and be able to just speak just a little bit. First of all, thank you, school board members and those who are watching or listening either in person or by video. Before I continue, I would once again like to praise the name of Jesus. It is his name and his name alone, and his name be raised above all else, and his will be done. I also would like to speak on the word of equity. Equity, according to its original definition, was only used in the law firm. And so when equity, of course we want equity. We want the same equal outcomes it doesn't matter based on race, where you come from, sex, orientation, whatever that is. Nowhere did it ever say that it should be an education until it was brought up about 40 years ago that maybe it should be, okay? Equity when it comes to treating person in the exact same way. I don't know of one person who is against that. We are very in favor of making sure that everybody has exactly what they need to succeed. The problem with an equal outcome-based education, okay, is that not everybody gets to the same place. There are even people that are on this board that have better educations than me. They have worked harder. Maybe they've born with a little bit more money. That's not, I can get to that same place if I work and do what my big dreams and our kids' big dreams. Okay, it should be allowed to continue to be whatever they want. Okay, so, and just one other thing that I've heard is that equity is learning about history. And nobody, once again, is against learning true history, but we want to know what's on both sides, whether you're black, white, whatever. And so examples that I've seen and heard is that history is teaching, even in our own school district, that whiteness is bad. I have personally heard of students coming home and saying that they are upset because their teacher called them bad just because they're white. And so when we hear of equal opportunity and equal access to education, whether you're homeless or whether you need extra help, nobody that I know is against that. What we are against is the racial equity that is divisive and that separates our community. So what we want is to work together with everybody, whether it's Mr. Stanislav, whether it's with our school board, whether it's with other community members, to just make sure that we are all working together for the best of our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. St. Martin. Dr. Gilfed, here's our reality. At exactly 5:30, we started the meeting, and in fairness to the folks that were here and had turned their cards in just prior, sorry. We're going to continue on now with item 6, which is just general information. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Elstad with regard to what we found in the enrollment report?
No, just glad to not see any hot spots. I mean, they looked really balanced, and so that was awesome.
Yes, they do. We will move on. Item 7, discussion items only, no action required. Board forum, Jolene, I'll start down here with you. Anything?
Nothing. No.
Deborah, tonight, anything?
Nope.
Lori?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
I have nothing for board forum tonight, Eric.
I have nothing for tonight.
Nothing for me.
Nothing for me.
This week is Red Ribbon Week at the high school. It's like the annual drug prevention week. And tomorrow at the middle school, everyone is welcome to come join. There's going to be a bunch of fun activities. I know that the mayor is going to be there as well, and it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of students pledge on a banner here at the high school throughout lunch to pledge to be drug free, and then they get this red wristband that gives you a bunch of discounts at some stores. That'll be fun throughout the week, and about in 2 weeks, I'm not sure if I might be here because there's going to be a leadership conference again for student council and NHS. That's just going to have a bunch of other chapters meeting and other student councils meeting as well to just work together and just come up with a bunch of ideas. So that'll be really fun. Hopefully I'll be able to make it to the next meeting, but I will let you guys know. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniela. Mr. Elstad, anything to add with regard to the administrative report?
Yeah, just a couple updates for you. I'm looking for the day we don't have to talk about COVID. But I will tell you that cases are down precipitously in our district. The percentage across the district of COVID positive staff and students is now at 0.29%. And we continue to see a nice downward trend in that. Couple of other items. We were made aware today that the legislative session begins on January 31st, which is a late start, almost 2 weeks later than typical. They do have to wrap up their work on Monday, May 23rd. We are scheduling a meeting with Senator Jasinski and Representative Petersburg. We're also including Representative Daniels from the Faribault area as part of our regional meeting to discuss topics, one of which is providing some equalization of aid for districts like Owatonna, knowing that our tax base, we don't have large tax base with businesses and things like that. Our tax base is relatively low, which means that our individual property taxpayers pay more and get less value than what they do in other districts. And so we're still trying to drive the point that your zip code should not dictate the amount of funding that we get for students, and that we want to make that equalized across the state. And then lastly, this morning, we sent out notifications to 25 community members that will be participating in our existing high school task force. We had a total of 54 applicants, so we did have to inform some that they would not be part of this. 25 is a nice working group with this. And the first meeting is scheduled for November 9th. And this group will be starting kind of with a blank slate of what this space and the grounds will look like moving forward, knowing that we have a limited budget to use. And so we don't have everything at our fingertips. We have exactly $11 million and not a penny more with that. The task force will be reviewing the ideas and how we might best not only repurpose things for district purposes, but also for future community use. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions? Moving on. Item 8 tonight, consent agenda. Quick reminder, we are approving the minutes from September 28th and October 11th, disbursement and personnel reports. Anybody have any reason that we need to pull one of these out?
I just have a question. Under disbursements, just to clarify for me, what is the difference between the OHS construction fund versus building construction?
If I might, the OHS construction fund is set aside specifically just for the Owatonna High School project. There's another fund that was established for, and we're still actually receiving some invoices and things from the 2015 bond. And so because that encompassed many buildings in the district, we named it Building Fund, because then we could apply it to wherever. We're still doing some HVAC testing and balancing. We did have folks come in and review those systems, and there were some errors made by contractors, so now we're just adjusting those and having to make sure that those are all justified.
Okay.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric, this is roll call.
Correct. Joanne?
Aye.
Deborah?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Nikki?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
And I myself am an aye. 7-0 pass.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9 tonight, board action requested. The first would be the policy revisions. With this, we've had our first readings on this. Tonight would be our second reading. Any questions for members of the policy committee with regard to the revisions that you saw? All right. Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the policy revisions as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item B would be the assurance of compliance report. I'll have Mr. Elstad explain this one for us.
This is an annual piece that is expected by the Minnesota Department of Education to demonstrate assurance of compliance with state and federal laws. We do a review, an internal review with our Human Resources Department and Chris Pica. We also have any attorneys that might be needed to come in and review any of these assurance of compliance. Basically, to receive any federal grants, loans, contracts, property discounts, and other things, we need to have that assurance that we have complied with all state and federal laws.
Any questions? One of you be kind enough to introduce this motion.
I move that the board approve the assurance of compliance report and that the superintendent or his designee sign and submit on behalf of the district.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor with an aye? Any opposed? That motion carries. Last one tonight would be gifts to the district. One more time, Mr. Elstad.
Yeah, so we have a number of gifts we're accepting tonight. I want to call one to your attention. Just before the meeting, we were taking a photo with some staff from Home Federal Savings Bank. Home Federal Savings Bank indicated tonight This is the first of 5 installments of $10,000 that can be used for the new high school area. And again, a total gift of $50,000. I might add that they will also be providing some in-kind ATM machines at the new high school for the activities area as well as the auditorium area for various events that we may be having, including youth tournaments and things like that, which was one of the impetus for the auxiliary gym and the additional space to have the ability to do so. You'll notice we're also received a very generous gift of supplies from Walmart for our McKinley students and staff, along with a couple of homecoming gifts. Our Washington PTO gave just over $2,500 for our students to have access to cross-country skis and poles, which is a great winter activity in Minnesota. And then some other various gifts, including 30 boxes of printer paper that were donated anonymously to McKinley Elementary. Very generous community. We're very grateful.
Absolutely. Any questions?
Last I knew, and again, it's been a while, we had a bank within the high school. Do we still have?
We had an agreement with Hometown Credit Union, and during COVID, they decided that at that time they weren't no longer able to offer that service within the school, so the contract became null and void at the end of last school year. We engaged many fiduciary institutions within the community and Home Federal Savings. We will not have a branch inside of our high school again because it simply wasn't used because of the advent of e-banking.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be, though, having some staff, not only from Home Federal, but other fiduciary institutions that will be part of our career pathway mentorship programs. So if students are interested in finance, interested in the banking industry, that they can have access to mentors within that field. But Home Federal stepped forward because they wanted to do something for and recognize their presence in the community at the new high school.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One of you be kind enough to introduce this motion for us.
I move that the board approve the resolution for gifts, for acceptance of gifts as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Eric, it's a roll call.
Correct. Deborah?
Aye.
Jolene?
Aye.
Lori?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Nikki?
Aye.
And I myself, an aye. 7-0 pass.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor with an aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, folks.